All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start this workshop for April the 3rd of 2025. Ms. Bonnie, do you want to have anything to discuss before we?
I just gave you an update on the document that I had given you previously with all of the things that we need to include in our budget. First and foremost, maintaining the positions that we currently have. We talked about raising that teacher salary up to 50,000. And we haven't really discussed that third paragraph yet on anything to consider about the non-certified yet. I added the Mastery Connect and already in the ACT cert, how much that would cost. The line-wise for technology and our online application software. I added the cost of the tutoring needs that we will have to have. We included 5 tutors and took that cost down from 200,000 to around 87,000. And added the other considerations are at the bottom. These are the things that were brought up the last budget meeting. Moving our school psychologist to that 11-month scale to be able to get the testing done. The bus contracts increase. Their contracts are due or up, and we need to renegotiate with that. Making Miss Britton a full-time principal at North, and then deciding what we need to do with that. The other half of what she does, we'll have to have that in that rotation still. And an additional teacher at the middle school. And then I received another request yesterday, and I put it in your packet, and it would be consideration of adding a we currently have a nurse working at 2 different schools, Cannon South and Cannon North. Cannon, and the request is to add another nurse so that we would have a nurse at every location. And Miss Joni Blackburn, who is currently split between the 2 schools, has written you a day in the life of a nurse, what she deals with. We did that, when we were trying to get counselors. And I think the board, it really was eye-opening to them to see what all that they are doing each day. So I also put a cost if we hired an LPN, what it's at the very back page, what it would take if it's just an LPN. And I don't mean just an LPN, but LPN, not RN. And so basically, that's what we have. Douglas is here. We've played around a little bit with numbers, so I'll let him do most of the talking tonight since he's done.
Well, I am working on the budget. It's a work in progress. And I have the things that we talked about been put into what I have. I don't have anything to print out to give you tonight, but it is in there. Been working on the medical insurance today. We still don't know from the state how much it's going up, but I think I'm going to estimate 6%. That's probably close to what it usually is. The main thing that I need, of course, I'll need to know what you want to do about the extra nurse, or not the extra nurse, but another nurse. And also, if you're going to do anything for non-certified beyond what the scale is. I think Ms. Bonnie may have something she wants to talk about later before I calculate those salaries and put them into the budget.
Just like we talked before, we have created that scale so they're on a step and they're getting an increase through the step. But we do have a few employees that are at 20 years, and so they're not receiving that step. we did talk about giving custodians, the snow days the last time. And that's really not gonna add anything into the budget. But I do think we need to do that. And I also need to bring up the fact, and I know this is on our board meeting next week, but it impacts your budget for next year. The teacher salary bonus that the governor is sending money for. We still have not received that list. We were supposed to receive it by April 11th, but we thought we would get it sooner. So we don't know how many teachers they're sending money for. So once we get that list, we're gonna have, or you're gonna have to decide. First of all, we're gonna have to see who it covers. And if there's anyone left out, then the decision would have to be made by the board, whether you're just gonna use the money the governor sends, or are you gonna add a little bit, or however, I'm not gonna say a little bit, you're gonna add some to it and pay any remaining certified staff. Because the governor is only sending it for special, categories. Is in that, the last time we talked. It's got some language there. We'll get the list. They're pulling it from TN Compass. But it's gonna be about 2,300 and,
Supposed to be enough for the $2,000 plus benefits.
and the language is it's teachers, it'll cover, it says it's gonna cover counselors, librarians, special teachers. Be mindful, we have a couple of part-time teachers that it will not cover. And some of those teachers are our most highly effective teachers. So I think we need, at least my thought would be, and not 2,000, but at least half of that, because they're doing the work what the other classroom teachers are doing. So those are just some food for thought. I wish the list was here so we could go ahead as a team and look at it and see how much additional cost that would be. But we have to have that approved by June so we can send it up through E-Plan. The money will come in July, and Douglas can talk about how that's all going to work out of being paid, because it's for employees that are employed this year.
I think we don't even need to put that in the budget for this next year, because we don't know what it's going to be, and we'll just amend the budget when we know how much we're going to get. But if you're going to pay some people that aren't included in that, we do need to put that in. It's not included in what they send.
And that would be part of the discussion we'll have to have at board meeting, but it's on the agenda for next week, but I don't think we're going to have the information back in time.
You got anything else, Douglas? You want to add tonight? You got anything else, like?
No, the main thing I need to know is what you want to do on those other positions that she mentioned, and any non-certified that may go beyond the scale that we have in place. And, last year, or this year, you gave the, I guess you'd call them hazardous duty aides, an extra $1,000. And it paid out in 2 payments. Assuming you might want to continue that, or I didn't know what you wanted to do.
I would suggest you continue to do that. It's very difficult to hire assistants for those positions.
Is that
correct?
It is correct. And 500 of that I paid out of my federal budget. So you all just covered 500 of the 1,000.
Split between the two.
Yes, ma'am.
And you always be mindful that if the other budgets can't pay it any increase that we may or may not do, then GP's gonna have to pick it up. As we have in other situations. Pre-K's allocation's not in yet, correct?
No, and we don't know what that's going to look like, but for this year, we're going to have a little bit of extra money. Not because we planned wrong, but we planned to have the teachers in place that we had last year, and there was a change, and one left that had several years' experience and an advanced degree, and we hired one that did not have all, she was a BS and zero. And so that's gonna leave some extra money, and the plan right now is for pre-K to reimburse GP whatever we have left from some of the aides. I think it'll probably cover one and part of another. Just have to see that when that last payroll goes out, what we've got.
And also remember, we always buy a bus every year.
That's in,
That's in there.
yeah.
How much is the bus contract? Like, 1.9%.
It was in that last, paperwork.
Well, you're talking about the,
The contract with 9% increase, you guys,
Well,
I have it here.
it's actually gonna come out probably maybe a few dollars less than what's in there now, because when we budgeted last year, this year, for it, we'll have a bus route that we're paying in for, and we don't have that. It came back this year, so what we paid him, I think, will about cover what the increase is, maybe a little bit more.
No, is this 9% for both contractors?
Sir,
Is that 9% for both contractors?
Yeah, I have the document. Current seat rate is, $23.47, requesting an increase of $25.58 per seat. And I can get y'all a copy of this. Our current mileage is at $1.89, they're requesting an increase to 2.06. And then, she gave us the last. That would be the totals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would go up.
And this is for 4 buses?
No, but Ricky's, we're paying, but that's not counting the one that we added. It's 3.
So this is just.
Oh, yeah, it's for
Ricky's two.
Ricky's 2 and Denise's.
So this-
Mhm. She thinks she may be able to work out that, it's a $26,000 increase. $26,471.
she is also paying Ricky to run an extra route, it's $60. That's what he does, he's picking up some extra students. And she, last time I talked to her, she was not sure, she thought she might have somebody that was one of our bus drivers. I haven't heard the final decision on that.
What is the additional teacher?
Miss Amy?
That will be either a math or an ELA position, math or ELA English. We're changing our schedule, and every student will have 90 minutes or 88 minutes of math and ELA, and we need another teacher to accomplish that.
Do we have a person for this part-time rotation for the, if we did a full-time assistant?
It's not, No, not yet. We'd have to hire it. She's just gonna need that person to make her special rotation, because Brittany's doing it right now, but she wouldn't be able to do it. Either, like I said, they've got a part-time, or they can make that full-time, or that person full-time, or they could just hire another part-time to make their rotation. Miss Amanda can speak better to it than I can.
I'm happy to. Right now, we have 2 days a week that is the library, and Miss Britton is doing that right now. We do have 3 days a week an art teacher that's there. So on the other side of PE, since we have 2 classes that go to their special rotation at a time, one class goes to PE and the other goes to either library or art. Right now, that art teacher is only there 3 days a week, and she may be interested in going full-time if that's an option. Or, hiring somebody just for that 2 days a week library position. I don't know if that makes a difference with offering insurance or things like that, if it's a full-time position, whereas if it's part-time, the insurance would be a non-issue maybe. But that's what we're looking at right now. And then Britton could be full-time AP and covering those duties and doing all of the things with testing and leading those PLCs and learning walks and all of the things that she does to help teachers in that way.
Which would be better for you? I mean, I know that you have art and library right now, so they're actually getting 3 different rotations, like every other school's getting something similar to that.
Mhm.
Would that be the best case scenario instead of making someone full-time? Because you're correct, when you make someone full-time, then you have insurance and all those things.
I do think that it's important for them to have that library rotation as well. I think our kids enjoy going to the library, and I think that it's important for them to learn about the library. So I do think having somebody in that spot would be beneficial for them.
Are you putting in the 50,000 on the budget you're doing now? The projected budget for the teacher's salaries?
Yes.
You got anything?
Did you, so there's 3 or 4, or over 20 years?
I don't know exactly how many. Douglas, I think it was last year, how many did it affect?
It's not. Say 8 at the most, 8 or 10 at the most.
I think they just have, not a whole across the board, but just make sure they are, because we do need to show that we do appreciate them.
Well, the problem will be if you do that, if you extend the scale, then that every year when somebody gets to that point, you would have to continue that, so.
Your scale is just a 2% increase, it's all.
And we do have a 6% insurance increase that's coming to offset. And they are your lowest paid personnel, and they work very hard. And it's hard to find people. Mr. Nichols can speak to that right now. Very short.
I don't think in all the time I've been here that the custodian budget is all used because it's such a revolving door. You'll be without one for weeks or months, or you'll lose one that's been here a while and take one that started over. We went halftime with one, or you hired 2 halftime. It's just a revolving door with custodians. I don't know what you do to stop it. Give them more money. Everybody wants that. One thing that they do get, they have an insurance plan available to them. Retirement plan.
This curriculum and that assessments for Mastery Connect and already, is that all 400 a year?
Yes,
Or is that just?
it's a year. It's a yearly
So we're
subscription.
already got that in the budget.
Well, Esther paid it,
So we gotta add it into.
and we've
our
got
budget.
to add it
Is
in,
it?
Okay.
because it's going to be more, not just assessment, but curriculum as well, as we go forward.
So we're just picking up.
We're gonna have to pick it. I tried to include basically on that first sheet, those things I feel like we have to maintain. Especially salary, because we've done better with putting qualified people in our classrooms this past year. I think the principals can speak to that. It was easier to hire with your salary scale the way it is. And I think the salary scales has been helpful because people are able to go on this website and see across the board.
How did we get to 200,000 down to 87?
Well, we're not paying as much.
Just curious.
In the number.
And I do really want to keep that pay where it's at because I want to recruit retired teachers or people with certifications because it's what we need in this area. And this is mandated by the state. You get a little bit of funding from TISA, but not enough to even scratch the surface. And as we slowly raise our scores, we'll be able to pull in more outcome-based money from TISA, like Williamson County. Anyway, tremendous amount of money.
Are you factoring in the school psychologist too, Douglas?
I think it put in 11th month, yes.
Can you, the next time, add a nurse?
So, yeah. You want to do it,
You can say what it's going to look like.
put it in. Okay.
I did get a nurse at every school.
Every school. We've had things to occur. I mean, our staff is trained and we can handle situations. But we've had some things to occur where it's, be great to have a nurse there, to take care of those things. And as she stated in there, all it takes is one diabetic patient. Then you're gonna have to change schedules. I mean, we've gone with 2 nurses countywide with 7 schools before. But times have changed and health care needs are different with students. We have a lot of medications that have to be given during the school day.
Just have a nurse and like teachers or staff, or more liability as well.
For your staff as well. I mean, we had staff to have medical issues during the day.
Did y'all cover pre-K at the last budget meeting?
Now, what is your question? So currently with pre-K, we are allotted a certain amount per classroom.
Right.
So even we've talked about even reducing classrooms, that's going to give us this, we'll be reduced by that classroom. But in the this current year, I should say, is there's 4 EAs, educational assistants, that is required that the GP is currently paying for. However, as Douglas has spoken to, then we have saved this year in order to reimburse GP as much as that, what will be remaining. For next year, we've not received our budget yet. It likely will not come until June, but all things being the same, all things being equal, it will be the same as what we've received this current school year. So more than likely, the EAs from the GP side of things will need to stay. That'd be same difference if we can reimburse or realign, we can do that anytime throughout the year as well.
Do you have that in there? EA, per EAs, from GP, you got,
That's
Yeah.
where it's being paid.
yeah,
now.
but you're gonna leave it in the projected.
Yes, because the teacher salary increase will be $9,000 plus benefits. So, same amount they give us, that's $9,000. We have to come back to you and say, you're going to pay a teacher or something. You don't pay yet.
No, they want all that stuff made,
They're
we don't
looking
get
at
nothing.
May 15th.
Yeah, maybe. Title I says Kathy Mullins can address. these
Yes, I saw
things.
that. Yes, Kathy Mullins is already addressed. So what will happen, we are reducing our Title I interventionists by one. We are going to just have one less teacher in essence next year. It's a game, that way Title I will continue paying for what, for what we paid for. We currently have two at the middle school, two at Cannon South, one at Cannon North, and one at Cannon County Elementary. So we will actually be moving one from the middle school and adding it to another school. So that we'll have, in essence, one at all the schools, except for the two at Cannon South will remain. So we're just rearranging and reducing by one. I think that's in there. I mean, obviously, we would love to keep as many as we have, but in order to stay within our Title I budget, that's the plan.
And remember, and this isn't, her program isn't affecting tutoring, although we tutor, it is tutoring.
Right.
With your tutors, we're just meeting the minimum. We are only doing ELA. We have been doing math
So,
and.
yeah, for the Nice Longer grant, we're doing math and ELA.
If we had $200,000, we'd do both, but we can't. So we are doing what the law says.
Is the pathway to promotion, and I think I've given you the law in the past. Pathway to promotion for third and fourth grade, and then any child in K3 that has been retained or K4. Like I said, just for ELA.
Are these equipment needs, is this on for technology, is that all he needed, that you know of?
He gave, that's all he gave in his budget. He just added the line.
Pretty much what it's been, except for things
And that online application, so. Which should bring in more employees qualified.
Are we needing any new vehicles for technology or maintenance? Or- Do we know that? Are we needing a truck or vehicle for either one of them, you know, of maintenance or?
Maintenance isn't as number one. I think I can make it another year. We do have one, but
Or just because it's
Just the
the
bus.
only vehicle we need? Have you got anything? I don't know. It's hard to discuss a lot. I mean,
Watch the other two videos, I agree.
y'all have anything?
Now, we plug numbers in and he's keeping me calm about it. He keeps reassuring.
So on the EAs, I'll leave them like they are, except for doing the step increase, is that right? The janitors, you're gonna give them snow days plus.
I mean, I'd say put it in for right now, till we can discuss it with the other three. Yeah. Y'all want anything else on here? Y'all, meeting adjourned. Thank y'all.
Right.